COVID-19's economic impact, presented by Sherri Gittings Gurkin. Economic fallout from COVID-19 has been devastating and the end is not in sight. When we shopped in the past, it was easy to find items such as toilet paper, cleansers, and so on. Shoppers in 2020 rarely or inconsistently could find these items. In your opinion, why is it so hard now? Are there any steps that can be taken to alleviate these shortages? To the question, shoppers in 2020 rarely or inconsistently could find toilet paper, cleansers, and so on. In your opinion, why is it so hard now? I truly believe that the toilet paper shortage was caused by impulse buying, and there was a rumor in the very beginning of the COVID-19 epidemic, or pardon me, the pandemic, that their diarrhea was a side effect of COVID-19. We later kind of found out that that wasn't true. The next thing was everyone was running out to buy N95 masks, Clorox to sanitize their homes and offices, and also Purell hand sanitizer. In the coming weeks and months, what transpired was that toilet paper was really not as important as we thought. There were shortages because people were impulse buying and stocking up on it and buying way too much. The N95 masks, as well as the all-purpose cleaners with bleach and hand sanitizers, those things became very crucial for hospital workers and front-end workers, frontline workers that had to deal with patients that had COVID. Some of these products, like the masks, not just the N95s, but other ones, were imported from China. And due to the pandemic, there were a lot of sickness, closings, and deaths in China, as well as things being imported into the US that were tied up in ports and in customs because we didn't want to let things into the country due to COVID contamination, as well as workers possibly having COVID and coming onto our soil and spreading it here. So that was one of the reasons why we had shortages then. In my opinion, why it's so hard now, from what I've learned as far as like my husband's work, he deals with electronic parts. They're having severe supply chain issues with procuring electronic parts from mostly manufacturers in China. And the reason for that is because there's a shortage of workers there the same way as there is here in the US. There are factories that have been shut down. There have been delays and also like trouble finding raw materials as well. There have been shortages in raw materials to make electronic parts. So there's a lot of things going on there as far as like the making of the parts, the workers to make the parts, the raw materials, transporting across the ocean, as well as going through customs and things like that has all contributed to these things being very in short supply. And to answer that question also, like, why is it so hard now to find these things? It's mostly a supply chain issue as well as lack of workers. And I don't think it has to do with raw materials, but there is a shortage because hospitals need these things so much, the masks, the cleaners, the hand sanitizers, probably not so much the toilet paper. Anyway, moving right. There's also the other question, are there any steps that can be taken to alleviate these shortages? Well, my husband and I were looking for these things in the store, and I'm the kind of person that I stock up a lot on stuff. I keep a lot of things around the house that we need because we buy a lot of stuff that's organic and it's hard to find it in regular stores. So we tend to have two or three of products at home. One way that we actually alleviated the shortages, taking into consideration that we already had extra toilet paper, things like this, we did buy some things in case we might run out. For toilet paper, you can safely substitute facial tissue, such as Kleenex tissues. It will do the same job. It's also flushable. For N95 masks that we could not find, we actually bought 3-ply masks that were cloth that were washable and reusable. So that's something that's environmentally friendly as well as it protected us. We never got COVID. To date, even we are vaccinated now and also boosted, but we still have never gotten COVID. The other thing was In place of hand sanitizers, we just use plain old soap and water. That's why I have the bar soap in the middle there. And also, both of us suffer from allergies and sensitivities to things that contain bleach and household cleaners, hand sanitizers, anything that like that will make me go into a sneezing fit. So we don't use those things around the house. We use good old Trader Joe's multi-surface cleaner that has sage and cedarwood oils in it that are also like natural disinfectants. And instead of using hand sanitizer whenever we go out to the store, and we still do this, we use reusable gloves that had nitrile palms on them that we got from Amazon. So in this way, we are environmentally friendly people. We chose reusable masks, reusable gloves, choosing soap and water over hand sanitizer because we're kind of allergic, and also Trader Joe's multi-purpose cleaner because we're kind of allergic, and substitute toilet paper for Kleenex or, facial tissue. So that's one way that you can alleviate a shortage. We talked about this in class before, where you substitute products that are comparable, you find a compromise, or you find some workaround that will also keep you safe in a pandemic, um, be environmentally friendly, address any allergy issues you might have, and that's exactly what we did. So I just wanted to share that with the class. Conclusion, here's my reference: How COVID-19 Transformed the U.S. Economy. It was a Bloomberg.com article by R. Pickert, A. Tanzi, and J. Gu, and it was published on 4/29/2022. And that's all I have. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day.